You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 13th day of January, 2025. Thanks so much for joining us. Wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. For those of you that follow along, the Telegram discussion group, know why I was absent yesterday. Thank you for your prayers. Appreciate it very much. Back today to do the best we can do. Do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first live broadcast is our live training room. 2 hours every trading day. Get in there, you need to be a member or taking your 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in about an hour, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. It'll take you about 3 minutes to fill out the form. There's no credit card required. Get your indicators up and indicating today. The trial will officially begin tomorrow, and it'll run all the way through next Tuesday afternoon. 5 consecutive trading days, and weekends do not count against you. Now, you're not just getting access to the live training room. You get access to everything we offer. In fact, we treat you just like you were already a member. 5 consecutive trading days, so that at the end of the trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. It's everybody everywhere on planet Earth, internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says noon broadcast, click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form. Done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. Email, there'll be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, what you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log into our platform. The benefit of doing it that way is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. Both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember, youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network. Since 2005. All you need to remember is youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, so archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for educational pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know We really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. You can literally see how we've evolved over the years, day by day by day. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor need to, but it is a great resource to have at your fingertips. And again, it does allow you to see exactly how we've evolved. Again.com/CF. On the left side of the screen, you'll see our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. So we'll go ahead and dive right into our devotional. The topic that we're currently on is the power of God's blessing. Today's scripture is 1 Peter 1, verses 1 through 9. And I'm going to share it with you from NIV translation. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, God's elect, exiles scattered throughout the provinces of Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, who have been chosen according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through the sanctifying work of the Spirit, be obedient to Jesus Christ, sprinkled with his blood. Grace and peace be yours in abundance. Praise be God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy, he has given us new birth into a living hope, resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, and into an inheritance that can never spoil or. This inheritance is kept in heaven for you. Through faith are shielded by God's power until the coming of the salvation that is ready to be revealed in the last time. In all this you greatly rejoice, though now, for a little while, you may have had to suffer grief and all kinds of trials. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor. Jesus Christ is revealed. Have not seen him, love him. And even though you do not see him now, in him are filled with inexpressible and glorious joy, receiving the end result of your faith, salvation of souls. Again, that was 1 Peter 1, verses 1 through 9. And what just popped up on the screen? Yeah, nothing important as they made it seem. Continuing with the devotion, our focus today is on 1 Peter 1. Share that from the ESV. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. According to his great mercy, he has caused us to be born again, having hope, resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, and unfading, kept in heaven. This long sentence means all praise to God, It is by his great mercy that we have been born again, as God raised Jesus Christ from the dead. Now we live with great expectation. Several letters in the New Testament begin with similar praise to God. How powerful it is when believers greet each other in this way. Christians, to whom Peter wrote his letter, facing persecution and suffering, just put their faith to the test. Peter reminded these believers of the power of God's blessing. This power would sustain them in their lives. God will never take away what Jesus has done for us. Let us remind each other of this truth, face rejection, because of our faith in Jesus. With these words, we can also bless God, thanking him for his great love. By reminding each other of this blessing of love, it helps us to keep our trust in God, no matter circumstances. Question: have the courage today to begin a message to someone, words of praise to God? So, words would you use? That's some thought. The opportunity will present itself. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the living hope we have, resurrection, Jesus Christ. Our faith is tested. Trust that you are refining us. Help us rejoice even when we do not see the outcome, knowing that our salvation is secure. Fill us with inexpressible joy. Strengthen our faith as we walk with you each day. In Jesus' name, believe and pray. Everybody said, Amen. Amen, and happy Tuesday. Give you the numbers. Oral news, then to the charts. Okay, starting here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Dow is currently down 283 points. Nasdaq's up 49. S&P 500 is down. Russell 2000 is down less than 1. So yes, the markets are mixed. Bias to the downside. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $1.61, 61.11 last. That's a gain of almost 2 3/4%. Gold up $7.90, trading 46.2260 last. Silver up $3.86, trading 88.96 last. That's a gain of almost 4.5%. Asian markets at the close. Nikkei posted a gain of 1,609 points. It's a little over 3%. Shanghai dropped 26. Hang Seng gained 239, just shy of 1%. In the European markets at the close, FTSE down 3, DAX up 15, CAC down. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. And it's a mixed Radio Tuesday here. S of A. Let's take a look at global news. Well, most of it's right here in the U.S. The Supreme Court will hear its first ever cases today on transgender athletes' participation in sports. The outcome of the cases originating in Idaho and West Virginia is likely to impact laws across more than 20 states with similar measures. Boise State University student Lindsay Heckuts, 24, sued Idaho over its 2020 law barring transgender athletes, women's and girls' sports teams at public schools of all levels, including public colleges. 15-year-old Becky Pepper Jackson has publicly identified as a girl since the 3rd grade and has been taking puberty blocking medication, challenged a similar law in West Virginia. Federal courts have blocked the two laws on the grounds that they discriminate on the basis of sex, violation of Title IX. States have appealed, arguing sex and gender identity are separate. An estimated 122,000 transgender teenagers participate in high school sports, a little over 1% of the U.S., more than 8 million teenage athletes. And this is what they're calling an 80-20 or 90-10 object, subject. Most people believe biological males should participate in male sports. It's just kind of a common sense thing. Former Federal Reserve Chair and top economist issued a statement yesterday condemning a federal probe into Fed Chair Jerome Powell as a threat to the central bank's independence. The Justice Department launched a criminal investigation into whether Powell misled Congress about the scope of a roughly $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's headquarters. Powell characterized the allegation as a pressure campaign by President Trump to push the central bank lower interest rates, cost of borrowing money, rates which influence economic growth, reviewed about every 6 weeks by an independent board Powell leads. Trump has criticized the Fed for not lowering rates faster, and last month floated suing Powell over the renovation. Trump denies prior knowledge of the probe. Separately, the Supreme Court will hear a case next week on whether Trump can fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook over mortgage fraud allegations. This is going to be interesting. Now, keep in mind, Federal Reserve, as you all know, is a privately owned and held corporation. It has no ties to the government. It's called the Federal Reserve, which is a very clever name. I like Federal Express, but we know Federal Express is not run by the government. So, the UN's top court yesterday began hearing a long-running case brought by the West African nation of Gambia, which accuses Myanmar of genocide against the Rohingya, a primarily Muslim minority. Proceedings mark the first genocide case the International Court will hear in full in more than a decade, and could set a precedent for other allegations, including South Africa's case against Israel. International Court Justice's 80-year history. Closest precedent came in 2007, a case against Serbia over the 1995 Serbian massacre found that Serbia had failed to prevent genocide. However, the court did not hold Serbia directly responsible. So you could probably expect a similar nonsense judgment. They have to do something occasionally, issue some kind of ruling every now and then just to justify their existence. So there you have it. Well, we had some economic numbers today. US stocks traded mixed this morning as a milder inflation reading supported bets that the Fed will hold rates steady, while JP Morgan results kicked off the fourth earnings season. It is earnings season again. JP Morgan Chase led out this week's rush of big bank results, posting a quarterly earnings miss at a $2.2 billion hit to net income. Apple Card deal. Shares in America's biggest bank opened the trading session down roughly 2%. Earnings season now unofficially underway. Bank of America, Citigroup, and Stanley will follow with their results in the markets are evaluating this morning's reading on the U.S. consumer inflation, a key input into the Fed's rate-setting decisions. CPI report showed inflation pressures remained steady last month, an annual headline rate of 2.7% and a monthly rate of 0.5%, which were in line with forecast. Core consumer prices came in below forecast at 0.2% over last month, 2.6% over last year, marking the lowest annual rise since early. Data takes on added importance after the December jobs report labor market. Traders have firmed up bets on the Fed holding steady this month. Odds have slightly shifted for a cut in the month after per the CME Fed Watch tool. Meanwhile, global central bankers have joined the likes of Janet Yellen and Alan Greenspan in rushing to condemn the Justice Department's investigation of Powell, seen as a threat to the Fed's autonomy. Powell, whose term as Fed chair expires in May, characterized the probe as political pressure from President Trump, repeatedly called for aggressive interest rate cuts. On another front, Trump said late yesterday that countries that continue to do business with Iran face a 25% U.S. tariff. Powell adds another layer of geopolitical uncertainty to a market already grappling with on Venezuela and Greenland, and could threaten the U.S. trade truce with China. Now, JP Morgan Chase, as I said, reported their earnings today that capped off a record year for the firm, while reporting a hit to net income resulting from its deal to take over the Apple Card portfolio, Goldman Sachs, which it announced last week. Net income for the firm came in at $13 billion, including the $2.2 billion in credit losses it planned for as a result of the deal. Excluding these costs, JP Morgan said its net income would have tallied $14.7 billion in the quarter. Earnings per share excluding these costs came in at $5.23, higher than the $4.85 that Wall Street was expecting. Including costs from its Apple Card deal. JP Morgan reported earnings per share $4.63 in the quarter. In the credit cards. It used to be on your iPhone. It was pretty simple to get an Apple Card. And the bank behind it was Goldman Sachs. I found it very interesting when Goldman Sachs gave up what appeared to be a golden goose, and JP Morgan Chase became the bank behind the card. Gotta hand it to the guys at Goldman Sachs. They rarely get it wrong. So, speaking of credit cards, Trump wants to lower credit card interest rates to 10% for 1 year. He's putting pressure on credit card companies to do so by January 20th, according to a January 9th Truth Social post. This isn't the first time we've seen a proposal to cap credit rates at 10%. It's a measure Trump spoke about in his presidential campaign, and as recently as last year, senators introduced a bipartisan bill implemented the same 10% cap for 5 years. Now Trump says credit card companies have until January 20th to comply with the rate cap, or they'll be in violation of the law. This morning, JP Morgan Chase warned on the company's fourth quarter earnings that the impact of a rate cap could result in less credit being made available, bad for consumers and very bad for the economy. So far, there aren't any details about how a rate cap would be implemented first, especially without legislation from Congress. Experts are clear rate cap could have long-lasting effects for today. The average credit card interest rate for accounts with assessed interest, cardholders who carry a balance, is 22%. While credit card rates have long been high compared to some other lending options, they've also skyrocketed over the past decade. In 2016, the average credit card rate for accounts assessed interest was a much lower 13.5%. A major culprit is credit card margins. The difference between the credit card APR's prime rate. These margins have increased significantly. 2024 analysis from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau showed that in the decade prior, issuers that increased this margin accounted for about half of the overall increase in credit card rates, which also made revolving balances more profitable for companies. Credit card interest rates also vary by individual. Most issuers offer variable rates in a set APR range. If you have excellent credit, you may be more likely to qualify for the lower end of the APR range. Without a strong credit profile, you may be assigned a very high rate at the top end of the range. Tough. Oil climbed to a 2-month high after the U.S. president amped up rhetoric over Iran, heightening investor concerns about the supply disruptions, OPEC's fourth biggest producer, and possible American intervention. Have a look at that chart here shortly. Reuters, Meta, and EssilorLuxottica considering doubling the production capacity of their artificial intelligence-powered smart glasses, 20 million units annually by the end of this year. Potential increase driven by strong demand could also see capacity exceed 30 million units if market conditions warrant. No decision has been finalized at this point. The European firm behind Ray-Ban glasses and the manufacturing partner of Meta is already nearing its current production target of 10 million pairs by late 2026, according to the eyewear giant said in October it would accelerate production capacity for the booming smart glasses business. Companies began their partnership in 2019 and launched their Ray-Ban branded frames in 2021. Promise to upend the smartphone era by letting wearers take photos and videos through tiny cameras in the lenses, stream content to Meta apps, and talk to an AI assistant. Last week, Meta said that it had paused the international expansion of the Ray-Ban display glasses due to a supply shortage, aiming to prioritize U.S. shipments. Quite a change from when Apple rolled out their smart glasses a few years ago. That was a big nothing burger. Now, you might not have thought that Caterpillar and AI would have anything each other. Turns out, think of Caterpillar, you think of the big bulldozers, and of course, AI, you think about chatbot. Caterpillar shares extended a turbocharged rally fueled by bets on the industrial giant's artificial intelligence prospects to push its market valuation above $300 billion for the first time. The company, known for its iconic yellow construction and mining equipment, saw its stock rise as much as 2.5% today, a high of $644.59 per share. Stock has gained 12% this year and is among the best percentage gainers in the S&P 500 Industrials Index, which has itself outperformed. And last, President Trump criticized Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell as either incompetent or crooked after a Justice Department probe into the central bank's headquarters renovation sparked backlash across Washington. He's billions of dollars over budget, so either he's incompetent or he's crooked, Trump told reporters today as he departed the White House for an economic speech in Detroit. I don't know what he is. He certainly doesn't do a Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. And last, Bill and Hillary Clinton have refused to appear this week for scheduled depositions as part of the House Oversight Committee's investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, and its people. Matter the consequences, the Clintons wrote in an 8-page letter obtained by the New York Times. Us now is that time. Bill Clinton was scheduled to appear for a deposition this morning. Hillary Clinton's deposition was scheduled. Committee Chair James Comer said Tuesday the panel plans to hold Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress after he failed. As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted unanimously by the community in a bipartisan manner. Next week in the House Oversight Committee, hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress. Letter, the Clintons challenged the legality of the subpoenas. Well, I don't know if they have anything to hide or not. Apparently, share it if they do. Hang on 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Okay, we'll take a look at Logic 247. 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. Not much happening. Alerts did not go out Sunday night as normal. They did go out last night, or the zones went out last night. Also, some alerts went out last night. We're currently in week 389. Over the last 389 weeks, we've issued over 21,100 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out, based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach passport holders. Now, so far this week, we've issued a total of 18 alerts. The average week is somewhere between 70. Today's only Tuesday. Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. At that time, we're still waiting on the outcome of 12 of the 14. It gave us 2 actionable alerts. So far, nothing stopped out, but again, it's only Tuesday. The purpose of the logic alerts is to help you learn how to read a chart. Trade for a living, you need to be able to read a chart just the way a doctor, medical journal, case law. Except charts don't have words, sentences, paragraphs, or punctuation. So, even if you never trade a logic alert, help you how to read. Now, every logic alert has an entry price, either long or short. Typically, there's always an initial target, and most of the time, additional targets, and then a final two target. Logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. Trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, vice versa. Now, 189 weeks, that's a very long time, obviously. 7 years. Years before, we had Logic 247, original alert service, the concierge. In a lot of ways, but so this discussion, I'll just say they don't come out around the clock. Typically come out 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. Tuesday session now, but the Tuesday session began Monday night, last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. All of our traders had all of these targets 5 minutes before. S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, NQ, gold, silver. So let's go chart. Start with the S&P 500 futures. Now, and I was out yesterday, but in absence, we got a new all-time historic day high, all-time historic closing high. In fact, we had a new all-time historic closing high. 9th, 10th. Like we may not today, because as you can see that the black step line is starting to hook down, crosses blue and climbing. That typically leads to a retracement back to the BBC. So we can get this, but time historic. $70.36 $70.37. That's close enough. Highs 36.25. This is the daily chart. Got a leg and a retracement. A leg and a retracement. Leg. Got a retracement yesterday, and then this was a red candle all the way down. Buyers came in, right back up. Closed yesterday just below 62% fib extension. Back below it today, and the markets look like they're getting ready to head lower. Potential support, you've got the black step line, climbing, percent fib extension. daily BVC. It always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. C just stands for bullish. Prices above the green line were bullish and anticipate higher prices. Prices below the green line were bearish, anticipate lower prices. Higher prices, lower prices, higher. Got quite a few layers of potential support. Looks like we've already tapped that black step line today. I suspect as we head into the close, we may see price step line. Maybe there's support at the 50. Now, it could find support at these areas, so just got to be patient. We are in the new year. Story 2036 and that's the futures price. The cash price is going to be slightly different. Now, all alerts, Logic 247 alerts, and the concierge trade alerts are created on the. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose yours. Say if it's not broke. So I did. Let's see. Ken asked, strange. Some are saying most are not seeing that the crash has already started. What are they seeing that we don't? That's a great question, Ken. Wish I had an answer for you. I mean, today we put in a new all-time historic high. I don't know if they're talking about whatever you read. I don't know if you're talking intraday. I mean, we've been calling for a much deeper retracement for time. 24% fib retracements down here at 65.39. So, trees don't grow to the sky, neither do the markets. At some point, if the bull market is going to stay intact, there has to be a deep retracement. So, but months I've been looking for that deeper retracement. Thought we were going to have it back here, and I thought we were going to have it here, and that just turned out to be a double bottom. Got this big leg, retracement, leg, retracement, retracement. So I'm not sure. I wish I had a better answer for you. I do definitely anticipate lower prices. The whole market has been riding on the back of what they call since 7 for a very so they're in earnings seasons now, as I mentioned earlier. So as these earnings reports come in, the trajectory of this market definitely change. And of course, we have this Supreme Court ruling coming that has to do with the tariffs, and that's going to have a huge impact on the markets. I heard one economist this morning say it might actually be good if the Supreme Court rules against it. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing that, but that's why they get the big bucks. All right, on the 30-minute chart. Vertical line separates today, Tuesday, yesterday, Monday. These are the weekly trading zones. Typically, they come out Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. I've published them every Monday for the past 16 years for a member. They didn't come out until last night, 11 o'clock, I think it was. Because I've had some issues to deal with on the home. Again, the discussion group until So this was the opening candle last night. We had red and falling overhead. We dropped to the VC. The pullback holds more often than not. Eventually, it will. Yesterday, we found resistance at the zone. On support at the zone, it dropped. And this drop yesterday. It's not an area that I would have support. Some markets. Now again, this is Tuesday, Monday. This goes back to Friday, Thursday. This week's weekly trend, not last week's. So anyway, we opened. We came down to the BBC. Got a little bounce. Pulled back. The pullback did hold. Bounce. Pulled back. Hold. Held. And then was the 8:30 news this morning. Price ran up to put in that new all-time historic high. That's a news-based event. As you can see, the effects of that are already. A lot of folks got carried away. Reality, to your point, Ken, is starting to sink in. Now, only one of three things happens when price encounters the zone. 70% of the time, it's this consolidation. This is wide-ranging consolidation here. This is consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. There's rejection. Spike through it. Rejected. Next candle, same thing. Rejected at the zone. Found this support, and now we're sitting on top of support right now at 69.95/96. Through this zone, support 69.88, 69.84. Target here, which is based off this bullish from yesterday. On the Dow. Yesterday we had this wild move to the downside. That was the 9:30 open yesterday. Today, and the markets recovered from that. That was huge. It's gracious. 9:30 open, which is typically the largest candle of the day of the session, just like this one here. Opened, attempted to move higher. Price came back to the BBC. The pullback did hold long enough for us to run up and that long CTA target. Back to the BBC, consolidated. And this was the 8:30 news. Green candle all up to here. And a period up. Reality had set in. Did test it one more time. Second, guys. All right, sorry, a lot going on here. Anyway, hit the long target, down support at the zone. Resistance will always send the market looking for support. Support will send the market looking for resistance. That long target was based off of this area right here, turned to red. Then it just happened with my phone. Anyway, so 8:30 we run up. 9:30 that candle, down support right at the zone, and we've just been consolidating sideways since. Step line is about to cross red and falling, so we should see a retracement back to the BBC. Russell.
Forgot to hit that.
Oh.
I am here.
You're here.
Yes. You can do the
All right,
Russell
guys.
if you want. But
no, we'll go ahead. We'll pick up with the Russell guys when I come back. Michael is going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning.
Yes.
Live trading on the platform, time and permit. And back.
All right. And it's funny, I'm going to see the eye doctor, and I think I have something in my eye. I know they're not going to be looking for that, but it's all right. It's all good.
Charts look, or your screens look good.
All right, good. Thank you. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 13th day of January 2026. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to take a free trial with us, then you just need to go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that, and it will bring you to this page right here. On this page, all the way out through is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down here at the bottom, make sure you give us your trading view login ID. All right, hit register, and we'll know that you signed up for the trial, and we'll be able to give you all the information you need to get your indicators indicating and to get into the room in the morning with us. Okay. So today, we had a pretty good day today. It was about the same as yesterday. Just a little bit off yesterday. We did get the goal in one trade, just like yesterday. A little less time today. I didn't screw up like I did yesterday. But today, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CBTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. I don't know if I said that already, but I have to say that every time. On the NQ, we're up 153 ticks. On the YM, we're minus 38. On the gold, we're plus 57. On the ES, we're at 0. Now, this was the high of the day, and this was the high of the day. This was the low of the day, and this was right in the middle of it all. So we end up with $1,145 a contract. Today, it took 3 minutes and one trade to get to $1,000 with 10 contracts on, and we took a total of 46 trades this morning, with 8 stop outs. So 82% of our trades, 82.61% of our trades were break even or better today. That puts us on the month at $7,725 over 7 business days, averaging $1,103. And on the year, the same thing. The 24/20 blueprint, the hourly rate went up a little bit today because we got the goal pretty quickly. So we're up to $1,400 an hour is what we're averaging. We've only worked 0.65 hours so far in the 7 days, getting our goal for the day. And we are up $910 getting the goal for the day. Right? If you quit trading with one contract for that 0.65 hours that we ended up working so far in the 7 days, we're under an hour so far in the first 7 business days of the year. Last year, we only worked 31.7 hours all year. All year, 31.7 hours. So I don't know how we ended up at the end of the first. I don't know, I'm kind of curious now. I kind of want to go look. This is 20. Yeah, this is way too far. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I just do. Here we go. Sorry to make you suffer through it. The total number of minutes, well, the first 7 days, it was 6, 10, 14, 21, 22. That's 6 days, 32 minutes. So it was about the same amount, 32 minutes last year, after the first 7 days. And where are we now? This year. We are 39 minutes this year. So it's a little longer this year. Anyway, let's get into the trades. All right, so on the gold today, let me flip this around so I can see what we actually did do on the gold today. We had the most trades on the NQ as we usually do. We did have some pretty good number of trades here on the gold, so I'll get into those. No, I didn't look at the big picture today at all. Okay, so we have some nice measured lengths going down right here, actually a little bigger than the last one down. So it's extended the move down. We'll see. We'll see if it breaks through this level right here. If it breaks through that level, then we have another big leg coming up. No, that's not what I was coming here to show you, though. Squirrel. Let's go all the way back here. And we'll start from the beginning with gold. All right, so our very first trade here on gold, we picked up 2 ticks. Then we stopped out. We were at minus 13. Then we picked up 15. That got us to 2. Then one more to 3. Then we made a mistake on this one. It didn't actually come off the mid band right there. We went from 3 to 13, picked up 10 there, and then 15 there to get us to 28. And then from 28, we went to 39, 39 to 40. And 40 to 50, and 50 to 55, and 55 to 56, and one more, 56 to 57 right there. We had a break-even trade here toward the end of the session. And that was it. The gold was pretty good to us today. We had the initial stop out on the gold, but I don't think we stopped out again after that on gold. And during the break, it looks like there was 1, 2, nope, 3, 4, 5. This one might have stopped out. 6, 7, 8. There's some good, nice movement here during the break. There's like 8 really nice trades, and one that would have been a stop out. Of those 8, I think one would have been pretty close to a break even. So gold has some nice movement during the break. Now the YM had my number today. I'm going to go control back on that one. Get all the way back here. Okay. This one here, I don't think I have it in the right place. It should have been over here. That was our first trade on the Y. This is the YM, right? Yeah, our first trade on the YM, we picked up 2 ticks. Then the next one, we picked up 1 tick to get us to 3. Then we got to 4. Then we got to 6. So far, so good on the YM. 4 positive trades in a row. And then the wheels fell off. We had a stop out there that put us at minus 9. Then we had I didn't enter in whatever that was. And then we had another stop out that put us at minus 24. Oh, wait a minute. I think it's out of order a little bit here. We went from minus 9. There's a stop out missing in here somewhere that I didn't put the red arrow on, but we did have another stop out. Went from minus 9 to minus 24. And then we had a plus 1 tick there to go us to minus 23. And then this stop out that got us to minus 38. And that was it on the YM. Now, if I go through here during the break, it looks like it had to go full cycle in here to get you a trade. So it didn't give you anything until right here. That was an okay trade. That was an okay trade. That was okay right there. So none of those stopped out. It was going all the way through the mid band in here, so that those weren't stopping you out, stopping anybody out, stopping me out. I wasn't trading. This one right here, this one right there would have been a stop out. I think it might have been a break even. It might have gone enough right in here to get it to break even before it went down way over here. This one right here would have been a stop out. So there were a few trades in there. It would have been about break even overall during the break on the YM. The YM just wasn't following through very much today. And you can see that these long stretches where it's just choppy. There is a way to trade that, and doing what we're doing in the room this morning, what we've been doing for like the last year. It's not really designed for chop all that much. It's designed for flowing markets. Should keep you out of the chop most of the time. Now, this ES right here, this is where we got the goal for the day on our first trade. Now, I did this on the wrong time frame. I was on a 15 range, I think, at the time. I took that trade and it gave me 8 ticks. And then I stopped out on this one. So I made a mistake on the first trade, and then I made another mistake on the second trade by not moving my stop to break even. So we started out with the ES, we were +8, then we stopped out, we were -2. Then we got 8 ticks here, and we got to +6. I'm sorry, no, we got 4 ticks and got to +2. Then 4 more ticks got us to +6. Then we stopped out again to -4. Then we had 8 ticks there to +4, break even. Then 1 tick to +5. 1 more tick to +6. Then it was somewhere where we got 4 ticks. I think we got 1 more tick in here. We got to 6, and this one got 4 ticks +10, and then we stopped out, and that puts us at 0. And that is where we ended it. Now there was a big move down here at the close of the European markets here, and then it came right back up. It recovered it right away. Some gaps in there during that period. Actual trades though, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was it on the ES. On the NQ, yeah. Now the NQ is where we have the majority of the trades, and on the NQ we did end at the high of the day. We did have some stop outs in the NQ too. Let's get all the way back to the beginning here. All the way back to the beginning. Wow, there are a lot of bars in there today. All right, here we are back to the beginning on the NQ. I didn't take out the question box, but I don't think anybody's asked any yet. Oh, there is one here. Hang on, let me see. Was that for me? Strange, some are saying most are not seeing that the crash has already started. Okay, I don't think that was to me, Ken. That was to Dwayne. What are they saying that we don't? That's big picture stuff. That's not my stuff, Ken. And I can't see what time you actually asked that. Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to drag it open here a little bit more so I can see the actual time. Why wouldn't I do that? Here. I can do it from the other side. There it is. It's at 12:46 US time. Okay, so that was before I came on. So Dwayne probably already answered that. Anyway, on the NQ, let's get into this. Our first trade here on the NQ, we picked up 16 ticks. And the next one, we got 45. That got us up to 61. And from 61 to 77, then 77 to 81, then 81 to 94, then 94 to 102, and 102 to 110, 110 to 114, and then 114. Somewhere in there we went to 126. It might have been in here. We went to 114, but we went to 126 before we stopped out, and that brought us down to 101, and then went to 103, and 125, and 125 up to 129, 129 to 133, and 133 finally to 153 at the end right here. Wow, that was a big move down right there. I think, what did I get on that? I got 20 ticks on this move right here, and I didn't get that. If I'd have left it on a little longer, I'd have gotten all 45. And that was it for me in that part of the session this morning. Just looking at all the trade opportunities here. There was one there. Nope. There. And there. There. None of these have stopped out yet. There. And that was it. So we ended the NQ with plus 153 ticks. Now let me see this. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on this right here. No credit card is required for the trial. Just click on that, and it will bring you to the registration page. Just fill it out. All right, let's get into the trading now. Today is the 14th, and right now, if we start right now, we have 17 minutes. Do we have a full 17? What do we have? We have 16 minutes. Okay. Just put that down right there. And so far, that's the number of minutes, right? No, that's the number of trades. Sorry, that should be the number of minutes, I thought. What am I doing? Number of trades. I know I have number of minutes somewhere. Number of trades and stops. Okay, let's not get into that, right? I could have sworn that was number of minutes. Anyway, yeah, because I did not have 25 trades. All right, maybe I did. Let's just get in there and start trading. I'll miss some bad stuff later. All right, so what do we need? On the gold, we need, well, this down close hasn't painted yet. There, okay, so now we need one, maybe two down closes. We need to hit the mid band and bounce up. Everything is in the green, so everything needs to pull back to the mid band and bounce up. And you just have to wait and see if or when that does occur. Okay. And there it is on the gold. We are testing the gold. We didn't get into the oversold, so we need an actual down close here. Wow. Okay. That just disqualified the gold. It closed way too far down. It pulled way out of the range of giving us a trade. It actually flipped to YBR. So now we could have a short trade over there on the gold soon. Okay. Not quite there yet. Over here on the NQ. We just need to hit the mid band and bounce. So we need, I think we do need a full down close on the NQ followed by an up close. All right, we ended up with nothing over here on gold. The YM, we need a down close, maybe two down closes. And the ES, the same thing. All right, we didn't end up getting anything on the NQ. And this was not a trade over here on the gold. This is not a trade. Maybe with an up close followed by a down close on the gold, we could have something. Nothing on the NQ, nothing on the ES, nothing on the YM right now. Right. Now we get a down close that got us into the overbought on the gold. What we need is an up close right now. Actually, if we get a down close on this, now that it's hit the midband, if we get a down close on this, it'd be a short too. Okay, and there it is, and that gapped down. Okay. So the YM needs an up close. Now the gold gap down, and it gave me one tick in there. So I was bringing it over to show you. I ended up getting just one little tick. It gapped down, and I got into it down here, and it gave me one little tick. And the YM has a trade right here too. And the YM has already gone up enough to get it into profit. I mean, enough to get the stop to break even, I think, but I just kind of messed that one up. And I got in a little bit late on it. So I'm in on the YM a little bit late. Got one tick on the gold. And the YM needs to go 5 ticks into profit to bump the stop to break even. Okay. This didn't end up being a trade over here on the NQ. This didn't end up being a trade here. The gold could turn into another trade here. Which I kind of messed up that last one. We have one gold for one tick right now, and we're in the YM. Okay. The ES did not have a trade, and the NQ is not going to give us anything right now. So we hit this window on top. Going here to gold 1. Okay. Now number of trades here. 1. And this is a 0. So I guess this is the number of trades. I thought I had a thing that showed the number of minutes. Number of ticks. Guess I don't. I don't know that I got 25 trades off on that day. That seems like a large number of trades. Anyway, YM still not bumped to break even yet. The S is still nothing. NQ is still nothing. And gold is still nothing right here. Oh, that's what I did. Okay. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, I'm using the wrong one. I thought I had that right in here. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you. Today is 27, and it is 1:13. Okay, and now we have 1 on gold. And this does have number of minutes traded. And so this is going to be a 16. And this will be a 1 so far. We're going to have 2. I don't know what the stop outs. 2. Okay, we're going to have 2. Oops. Hang on, this will be 2. That ended up with 1 tick on the YM right there. Let me undo this last thing that I just did here on this. Okay, that is 3. This becomes a 2. 0. And we have 1 on gold and 1 on the YM. Thank you for straightening that out for me. I knew something didn't look right. Let me just close that. Copy that. Paste that. All right. That's where we stand now. Thank you. Thank you for that. I knew something was messed up in there. It was just throwing me. And it was me the whole time. So we do that. We do that right here. Right? End up with 1 tick on that. And now we don't have anything else. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I do the Wednesday thing a little different. It uses different information because I don't try to keep track of the number of minutes. This is not a trade here on gold. I have to make sure I didn't screw the Wednesday thing up too bad. I guess I just added a row on it, so that's not a big deal. I can just delete the row I added. All right, so we need an up close and then a down close on the NQ. We need an up close, 2 down closes, and then an up close on the ES. The gold is pretty close, but I don't think it's going to come together exactly right. It didn't. It's going to flip the YBR, I think, on the gold. Okay, so the YM did move up after that trade that we had back here. It did end up moving up pretty well. Ken, Dwayne answered your question earlier, right? About seeing something we don't. He's the big picture guy. Okay, good. My world revolves around minutes, not days. I can do the day stuff, but not as precisely as Dwayne can. All right, on the gold, we just need an up close in here now. Up close on the gold will be a long trade. Okay. I thought we already had that, but we didn't, and now it's too far away. The YM could trigger something here. The NQ did not. It could turn into something, but the gold just pulled back too far. It pulled back too far right there. I almost wish I would have left my order. But the YM needs to hit the mid-band and bounce up. It could do it in the single bar right here. Okay. The ES needs a down close on this bar, followed by an up close on the next bar. It'll be pretty much an immediate up close, though. Okay, and that's actually a trade there on the YM right there. I know it immediately pulled back. I didn't have an order waiting for it there, but you can enter it right now if you want to. It's pulled back just about to the point where it would stop out if you had an order waiting there. I don't know. Looks a little bit risky, but it is trending up right here. If you look at it, I took it, but I'm going to show you in a second what I mean. Leg up, pull back to the midpoint, leg up, pull back to the midpoint. So we should have another leg up, even if it's only a leg up to here to prove the fail. Right? I did take it, and it's not looking so good right now. Here it is. And it just stopped me up. Okay. It was a valid trade. So we take the valid trades. And that is, that's going to put us at minus 14 on the YM. This one. What do we have? We only have a few minutes left in here. This could end up being a white day. All right. We don't have anything here on the gold right now. We don't have, the ES could give something. Let's see, 90.25. What's this at? 250. It's going to be one tick below it. The NQ could give us something. Gold could give us something. There's the ES up close, and it's one tick below it. As I was saying, it's going to be one tick below it. It's not a great trade. It's starting to work, but It's low on that. Yeah, I left the order on 8 ticks from the bottom. Didn't realize I did that. All right, so we need a down close followed by an up close on the gold. Down close, there's down close. Now we need the up close on the gold. Okay, that was actually 4 ticks right there on it. Yes. All right, we're pretty close to getting the trade here on the gold. All right, we were pretty close to getting the trade there. Now, can it still happen? No, it can't. I'll mark that. This is weird color blue. The NQ could give us a trade. We only have a couple of minutes left, 1 minute left. We're not going to make it to positive numbers today. This needs to get into the overbought, then come all the way back down and come out again. This needs to get into the overbought and come out of it. This needs to get into the oversold and come out of it. But if it does that without going up anymore, it's going to tighten this range even more than it is. So it looks like we're going to end up with a white day, probably. I say it's a white day because I really, with only 16 minutes, I don't really have a lot of time to recover from any stop outs. We'll see. The gold could give us one more trade here. No, we have 15 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen in 15 seconds. And I have a doctor's appointment I have to go to, so I can't let it run over either. The ES is pretty close right here. I'm going to give it another minute. It's the VA. They never have time anyway. I think the gold needs an up close. And need a couple of ticks. 58.5 up to 59.5. Could still happen here on the gold. Could still happen. Oh, now it's not gonna. Mid-band's not right. All right. Well, the YM's got a trade, doesn't it? Yeah, it was flat on the bar before. YM's got a trade here. Locking 2 ticks on the YM. And the ES almost has a trade. The NQ almost has a trade. The ES does have a trade right there, I think. The ES has a trade. It just went to break even. So we'll lock in 2 on the ES, and the NQ's almost got a trade. Okay, 2 on the ES, 2 on the YM, and the NQ's almost got a trade. I really have to go, though. Right, now the NQ's not going to have a trade. Let me cancel that order. And we'll go in here and we'll fill this out. So the ES had 2, and the YM had 2. So we ended up plus 250. All right, so it is green, and this ended up being a 6. All right, so that's how we're going to wrap it up. Actually, it was 17 minutes. 17 minutes today. We ended up with 6 trades, 1 stop out, plus $250 total with 10 contracts, or $25 total with 1. So this is the 27th day. 27th trading day. So we're averaging now in this session, we're averaging $138 per contract in this session. So the 27 days that we've done it. And that is that part of it. Here, if you have not taken a free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, no credit card required for the trial. Once you do that, fill out the registration form. Okay. And that is it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A overlooking the South of America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, recap of the session.
This morning, it took 3 minutes and one trade to get to $1,000 with 10 contracts or 100 with one.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck with your.
Thanks. Hopefully it'll be okay.
Yep.
All right. We'll see.
All right, guys, we'll pick up where we left off with Russell. Already covered S and the Dow. Granular fashion. If you missed any part of it, when I sign off, you can go to youtube.com/CFRN. Today's broadcast in its entirety. So this was the opening candle last night. Came to see the pullback held, and we got the 830 rocket ship. Then I'm the 930 Street. Around it had gone down a bit. Census. Now we're starting to build again. So resistance right 658. And then again 662. This weekly zone overhead at 67/68. NQ. That's where we opened last night. And we dropped right down to the weekly trading zone and the short target. Consolidated. Got a little bounce. Right up to this area. Back down. Support. Then set us right up target, which was based off right here where blue target sent us back down to the target. Then we hit the long target twice. We almost hit it a time right. Short target. And done everything inside of these two zones so far. Okay. Yesterday we covered. All right. Oil. Talked about earlier, the rally yesterday was zone. Opened last night, brought us back to the BTC. Still touching the zone. There's a leg and a retracement. Leg right up to the zone at 60.75/68. Resistance sent us back down to the top side of the long target and blue and climbing. That support sent us back to resistance. Resistance sent us back to support at the C. Came that zone. Got a retracement. Back to the zone. Top price always moves. Leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg, retracement. Now, these wicks to the upside here, this area up here, price doesn't want to support that. At least it hasn't shown any indication of doing so far. So I would be real cautious on the side. Price. I'm gonna think for me, likely it's gonna take it back to the zone, back to the BC. Gold. Last night. We had a drop. This area. Right here. Support sends us to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, back to support, took out yesterday's high by just a little. Back to the BBC, caught a bounce. Now we're below the BBC with falling overhead. Got a doji here. Suspect we're going to see price head towards that short target today. Silver opened last night and dropped short target in the first 30 minutes. Consolidated at the zone. Leg, a retracement, a retracement. And a high on the session at 89. Back to the BBC. Step line crosses, price comes back. Now we got red and falling overhead. So support right here. We found support top side of the long target. Turn a green candle, but looks like the path resistance is going to be the side. So this area right here. First, at the low of this candle, then the top side of the long. This area here. Zone. That's the highest weekly zone this week. Silver. Falling coming down. Suspect we have seen the high session. Last look at the daily. Okay, a new all-time historic intraday high today. All-time historic closing high yesterday. And the step line looks like it wants to climbing. So support at percent fib extension. See 8 significant drop to the lows put in January 2nd. To become a member, email Valerie support@cfrn.net. Let her know you want to be a member. She'll send you all the information you need. Signed up to become a passport holder. Get 2 hours of live training every trading day. Private one-on-one mentoring. Extra charge. All you can ask. Strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder. Do it across all markets and all time, not just futures. Stocks, crypto, ETF. Price flows the same across all markets and all times. Passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. That will help you how to read the chart. Get the concierge trade alerts, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex open each evening. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get weekly trading zones. Every Thursday night, you're able to attend the shop. And you get the golden keys that open all the private channels for you. Everything a trader needs, all under one. And we'll wrap it up with our secret of a happy marriage: selfishness. 1 Corinthians 13:4, love is patient and kind. It's not selfish. Begin with 3 short stories that spell out the challenge of building a strong and happy marriage. First story. A man was observing a couple and said to his wife, "Look at them. They look so happy." She said, "Don't be so sure. Probably saying the same thing about us." Second story. A woman once said, "My husband and I have a very happy marriage. Nothing I wouldn't do for him. Nothing he wouldn't do. On through life, nothing for each other." Third story. A husband told his friend, "Wife and I have decided never to go to bed angry." His friend asked, "How's that working?" He replied, "We haven't slept in a month." Seriously, the biggest challenge in marriage is selfishness. Two people each put their own desires and interests first. The relationship is headed for trouble, possibly a divorce court. So what's the answer? These inspired words were written almost 2,000 years ago. Still God's formula. Stable and successful marriage is patient and kind. Love is not jealous. It does not brag. And it is not proud. It is not selfish and does not get upset with others. Love does not count up wrongs that have been done. Love takes no pleasure in evil. It over the patiently accepts all things. It trusts, it hopes, and always endures. So these three things continue for faith, hope, love. The greatest of these is love. It's our good word. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, God continue richly bless you, mercy, and with His grace. See you.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.